I think this big thing that we're seeing here with the Page of Pentacles has a lot to do with an offer of somebody that someone's giving. But the thing is, Pentacles are slow energies. So there may be a bit of slowness here that's kind of, that does result in a benefit to it eventually, but I think it's just like the process of something. It's taking very long, taking a really long time, and it's really, really grueling on you guys because the situation looks like everything's just based around slow progress, things moving very slowly, not moving up in a very fast pace. It's just taking its time because the Knight of Pentacles is very slow energy. Page of Pentacles, pretty slow energy in itself too. It may be an offer of something long term and stable, but it does take time for that to grow. It does take time for it to get to a place of maturity and where it could really mean more than when it's being offered, right? The value of something like that is great, but there's work and time and effort that needs to be put into it. And I feel like the process is what's causing the most hiccup because I feel like there's this need to want to get something fast, this urgency to get something fast. Or maybe even someone that wants to be in a relationship and wants to be committed and stable and, have all these wonderful things. But I feel like there's some sort of growth that's needed to it, some nurturing, some tending to. And I feel like somebody's trying to be very quick with it. They're trying to be very snippy and quick and straight to the point. But it's like, maybe you're dealing with someone that's trying to move way too fast, way faster than you're ready, Aries, and you need some time, or vice versa, right? Because the Knight of Pentacles is a very slow knight. He's one of the slowest out of all of them. Okay, sure, Knight of Cups is one of the slowest, but Knight of Pentacles very slow. Right? He takes his time. He looks very close to details. He makes sure that he's doing everything correctly. He's, making sure everything's stickler. He's very anal. Okay, and I'm not seeing anybody kind of rushing him, but the Knight of Swords here. Yeah, right? Nobody rushes the Knight of Pentacles because, let's be honest, he does his best work with time on his side. Okay, just taking it and taking time, just doing what he needs to do. Right? He's not really in any rush or hurry to get something completed. He's just taking his time, looking at things very detailed like. And I feel like if this is regarding him even accepting an offer, if this is about an offer extended to him, he's going to take the time to really do some background checks, research, really understand what's being offered to him before he accepts any sort of offer whatsoever. So yeah, when I see the Knight of Pentacles, I'm thinking, yeah, the problem is going slow, doing the work. Not necessarily the problem, but the challenge is taking your time, moving forward in a very progressive process. Somebody may be also procrastinating, which may be a situation of annoyance, but the situation is someone is really focusing on details and building something and really putting in the effort, but it takes time with this individual. This person is very slow. This person's very, is very gradual. They're not rushed. They're not rushing. But the challenge, obviously, is what's crossing this obstacle is Knight of Swords. Someone else is trying to get rich quick. They're trying to move very fast. They're fighting for what they believe in, sure, but they're moving as fast as light. This is the fastest knight in the tarot. All right? So you have the two in between, the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups. They're pretty good. But the Knight of Swords is the fastest. Now I heard a lot of people say that Knight of Wands is fast. But look at this. Look at him. Alright? The Knight of Wands is galloping. He doesn't have any reason to rush anywhere. He's just doing his thing. He's enjoying every moment at the pace that he's going. It could be slow, it could be fast, it could be anything. But the Knight of Swords, he's rushing in, fighting for what he believes in. It's combat. What combat do you know is slow? What combat do you believe is leisurely? Or not as like fast as as possible. That's what I think. And the Knight of Swords is like super quick. He's very fast. Somebody is rushing this thing. Like somebody is really not interested in taking time to do stuff. Like I think they have what they want. They know what they want. That's the thing. They know what they want. They know what they're going in for. They know their intentions. They know their truth. They're fighting for their truth. They're going to get whatever they're going to get out of whatever they're doing that's causing them to move so fast and be so adamant about something. But it's the pace of it all. It's like, what is the purpose of going so fast? Now the past here shows the Two of Wands. There was a decision in which direction to go, right? And taking action on that, right? You have to make a decision and just do making your decision is literally following through with that decision making. So the Two of Wands is practically making a decision and going with that decision, right? I think somebody had to make a decision about where they were going to go, how they were going to pursue something, what avenue they're going to lead their passions forth. Now this could be a relationship, right? How you're going to grow the relationship. What are you guys are going to, how you guys are going to set out to begin the growth of your relationship process. Business wise, same thing, same difference. What is your avenue for income? Like, how are you going to start out? You're going to start with a partnership, or you're going to do it solo. Either way, you had to start out doing something, and that decision was you, and consolidating that decision was you taking the action, based off what the decision was. Now, the Queen of Pentacles this is a very stable, structured, and routine kind of queen. Very solid, very stickler, very, kind of stiff, but in the sense of, keeping it regular, keeping it, at a very even keel. She doesn't break the flow because she has a flow, right? A flow that works. It's nurturing, it's cultivating. She's determined, she's dedicated, she's committed. She's like very similar to the Empress. So she's going to do the best that she can to make she's going to do the best she can with what she's got. She's not going to give it half-ass percent. She's going to give it 100%. And I feel like this is you guys, okay? You guys are doing that. Now, queens, guys, you may not be a queen. That's okay. You don't have to be. But this does indicate that this is both sexes. This doesn't have to be any woman. It doesn't have to be any man. It's literally a generalization, okay? If you want a more specific and tailored reading to you, I do offer readings. But the Queen of Pentacles is everybody. And this is someone that is dedicated to their work, very confident in their ability to work very diligently. It's very good at sticking to routines, has their own way of doing things. But they're also committed, right? They're very much committed. But the Knight of Swords is what's crossing this too. Somebody's like really, like, who rushes the Queen of Pentacles? Crazy, right? But somebody's in here rushing somebody. I think somebody also may be getting a little bit impatient with the flow of how things are going. Because if you notice here, you have the Three of Pentacles in the future, which has a lot to do with planning for the future, detailing, figuring out if there's even a future to even plan for. Because this is something that's going to be working with partnerships and people and others. But the Queen of Pentacles is very confident in her ability to execute certain things because what is this? What is the external energy, guys? Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is known for being single, known for doing things alone, handling things by themselves. Now, the reason why we have this sort of combative energy here in the forefront may be that somebody feels threatened with their independence being taken away. Somebody may be feeling like they don't want to be in a relationship with somebody because they've got everything already. Right? Look at what we saw before, the Seven of Wands. Why did we saw the Seven of Wands? Because of the Six of Swords. Somebody was moving along, leaving something behind, letting something go, doing what they feel was best for them. And that process, which is the past here, which I believe is the past, found their new land and they had to make a decision about how to move forward. And that decision is being tested with this Page of Pentacles. Somebody's offered somebody something that's definitely pulling them out of their comfort zone and putting them in a different arena, which is why you got the combative energy in the first place. Somebody may be a little bit eager to combat this. Now, on the other hand, there could be some sort of lack of aggression, of lack of enthusiasm. Somebody may not be wanting to entertain anything, so they're doing nothing. They're just staying stagnant. But that's very, I don't think anybody's stagnant. That's very few of you guys, but somebody may not actually be doing anything. So therefore, their procrastinating is them saying something much louder than words. All right, but again, that may not resonate with a lot of you guys, all right? But the Queen of Pentacles, solo, independent, by herself. She don't need nobody. But you see, this person is comfortable in what they're in or where they are at. Now, at the same time, the Nine of Pentacles doesn't just mean singlehood. It doesn't have to mean, it doesn't have to mean you're doing everything by yourself. It can mean that you're in a relationship and you feel like you're single in a relationship, which is awful. And that can arise a lot of boredom, a lot of feeling of boredom. Now, for some of you guys, you may be single already. Some of you guys may be in a relationship. I think the biggest thing, though, is that You guys don't come up as Pentacles, right? You're a fire sign. We saw you earlier, the King of Wands. Why are you coming up as a Pentacle? Perhaps because you guys are getting really bored with the freaking mundane. You started out with having some sort of exciting new beginning, and then it started to get mundane, repetitive, constant, no excitement, no ripple, no drama, nothing. Just everything steady and pacing. You're just maintaining. You're just keeping things on the down low. The Page of Pentacles, boring ass work, right? Underneath that, Seven of Wands, you were defending something. You were maintaining something. You know, you had some action going on here. Now it's just watering the plants every day. Plucking off their leaves, making sure that they're good. Having yourself a cup of tea, going to the gym, coming home, watching TV. It's boring. Constant, repetitive, and boring. So the Knight of Swords may be you guys wanting to actually do something, have that fiery urge to fight for something, to do something, to get active again, to feel like you have a purpose, which is why you may have the Three of Pentacles in your future. You see yourself planning for a different avenue, planning a different course of action, trying to figure out where you guys could go next. What is your next destination? Because you've already mastered, the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is the mastering card of the kings or period are master cards, but the queen, like, you guys are already pretty good with your independence. You kind of got things down pat. You don't need to do this anymore. It's boring. It's boring. But what did I just say about the Page of Pentacles, right? It's temporary work. I said it in the very beginning. It's temporary. It doesn't last forever. It usually leads you to something better. It's temporary and it doesn't last long. And I feel like you guys are really putting in the effort, but you are really impatient at the same time. You're feeling that impatience kind of rise up. We're in Sagittarius season, so it's understandable. That fiery energy is coming back with a vengeance. So yeah, you're not going to be feeling too hot about doing some mundane ass shit for any longer. But I think the purpose of it all is to get you to this Three of Pentacles point where you can start to plan further. But I feel like there's some things that you may need to do so you can get to this period. So I think the biggest thing it's asking you right now is to maintain patience. It's to maintain conviction and focus. It can be extremely hard to do considering that this is getting old and old really fast. And I completely understand. I'm an air sign, Gemini moon, Libra sun. This is not something I would want to do. But if it's getting you to where you need to be, so you can have an opportunity to plan further, to plan something new with your partner, with a group of people, to go and extend in a project. If this is a company, if this is a business, then you have to kind of set up an establishment, right? And you are doing that, and you're doing great. Nobody's saying you're doing anything wrong. This patience thing is not even a problem. It's like you have more reason to continue to fight for what you believe in, because you know that the mundane things that you're doing has a purpose. So it's all about kind of maintaining the focus and keep drudging through, because the best path to follow, which is interesting, in your goal and ambition, is the Five of Pentacles. You want to get out of the struggle. You want to stop feeling like you're left out in the cold and like hanging in the wind, kind of fighting against the cold. Like, you're tired of fighting against it. But the only way you do that is by finding a way out. Now, some of you guys, it may have to do with including other people, because you have independent cards, and the Five of Pentacles can indicate that there's help around you that you just don't really want to accept, that you don't really want to find. You don't want to add anybody into the group. Maybe this person can help you. Maybe this church, can be your solace for one night, so you guys can find another way to, make a living and have your own stuff. But this is not to say that you owe anybody anything. But the thing is that maybe, just maybe, you don't have to do everything alone. Because if you think about it, solo, partner, right? You have two cards in here that indicate partnerships. Connecting with people, networking, working together with someone, partnering up, like I was saying. And I feel like the Two of Pentacles is that. Five of Pentacles is that. Maybe there's help around you that you can perhaps lean towards. Maybe there's people around you that you can trust, that you can work together with. Maybe there's people that can help you get to where you want to be a little faster. But if you choose to go the solo route, which is not a bad thing either, you can still fight it through. You can get it out there, keep pushing forward, keep fighting against that cold. Make sure you doing the best that you can, making sure you're okay, right? You can do that and still keep going, right? The other advice is just to keep looking forward, keep fighting through, right? The struggle is real, but as long as you always come up with solutions to your problems, you're always going to come up with a better outcome. But if you decide that you do want the help and you do want to further your process along a little faster, then maybe considering adding other people to the team, communicating with your partner, finding solutions, figuring out things to do to work together to get to where you want to be, that may be the best thing you could do for yourself at this moment. Because the High Priestess is in your goal aim, is your hopes and fears. Excuse me, not your hopes and fears. The High Priestess is your outcome. Interesting card to get in your outcome, right? It's saying that you have to trust your intuition. You have to kind of be a little bit more passive. Let things come to you, kind of sort of thing. Trust your intuition is the best thing, though. Right? And it's not giving us a clear picture of what the hell is about to go down in your outcome. And the thing is, the reason why is because that's left up interpreted to you. Because you're going to have to feel this out. So far, we're pentacling this bitch. We are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. We have 6 pentacles in here. So where's the emotion? Where's the feeling? That's where it is. It's the swords, the wands. I would never see the swords as passion or fighting or an emotion, but the way he's going into it is that his truth means something to him and it triggers something emotionally. And I feel like the High Priestess is like, okay, that's a very passive energy. It's like letting things fly, letting things, smoothly grind and glide and, do their thing. No disruptions, no brumpness, no nothing. Just letting it be. And the High Priestess is not, not lazy or anything. She knows the need for being at a yin state as well as being in a yang state. And I feel like the situation is that you understand what needs to be done and give that patience that's needed. And at the same time, it could be that you have to trust your intuition and when the time is right, do what you feel like you're led to do. But we're going to look at the oracle cards to see what additional messages that we get. Because so far, it's painting a pretty clear picture. Somebody's trying to rush the situation, or they're really getting impatient with how things are running, right? Which is understandable considering that they've been doing this for some time. Look at the Knight of Pentacles. They've built their foundation already. They're stable. They've done this for a long time. Why wouldn't they start to get impatient? Why wouldn't they start to get antsy? Why wouldn't they want to start something new or fight for something or feel like they, feel alive again, And it's really a weird card to see that with the Knight of Swords, but I feel like that gives, the Knight of Swords going in with purpose, and it feels like right now, this person is just doing some mundane stuff. And it could be you, right? Just bored out of your mind. It's like driving you crazy. Ugh, sucks. Engagement. Wow. And it says the love of your life is ascending to a higher place of commitment. Queen of Pentacles does indicate commitment. The Page of Pentacles is an offer of something stable, something long-term, something that can definitely stand the test of time, as long as there's work and effort put towards it, right? Like I was saying, it's usually temporary. That's the temporary stuff that happens, though, that can get you to the startup, right? But there's more to come. It doesn't actually happen overnight. All right, but there's some sort of engagement. There's some things that are moving up in a higher place of commitment. Like I said, you guys have done this for a while. You've established something. Now it's including someone else. It could be, strengthening the connection. It could be strengthening the relationship. Let's see what the Whispers of Love has to say for y'all. Miracles and blessings. Wow. Oh, who got this? I think it was Pisces. No. It was Aquarius. Aquarius got miracles and blessings. And it says, even though the situation is looking pretty darn ugly, Everything has its gifts in it. And I was just telling Aquarius this because think about it, right? Sometimes, like, think about it. Every time we go through life, we hit snags, and they feel like absolute garbage. They feel terrible. But as we go through life and we see that, we remember that time when we felt like absolute garbage, and we realize that moment in time was the actual greatest treasure we've ever obtained, because that's knowledge that we can never, ever, really get the true value of. It's priceless. And this is one of those situations. Now, I know you're like, what the hell you mean? I was like, look, chill out, listen to me. I know some of you guys out here are thinking like, this is one hell of a situation in my life. Some of you guys bored out of your mind. Some of you guys really putting in a serious foundation, really working hard to create a foundation that is of sturdy, strong material, right? Good moral values, everything. And it may kind of suck in the process, right? Nothing really, too amazing, too exciting, but it is going to lead you to something more. This is temporary work, I swear. I feel it. Temporary work, because you're going to be planning where to go next. You're putting in the groundwork right now. And even though this doesn't feel that great to do, it's not really exciting, you're putting in the groundwork for something that could be amazing at this moment. They're doing a great job. Your dedication, your constant effort, it's going to be recognized. Right now, doesn't really feel like it is, right? Doesn't really feel like it's recognized. But trust me, you will see that, because you're laying down the groundwork for something that's going to really build a foundation towards higher sense of commitment. If you don't have that now, you will have it later. And that commitment is not for the other person, it's for you. You're putting that foundation for you. That's why the High Priestess is going to be an outcome, because wherever you guys take it is up to you. Because that is a decision left up to you and the other person, it's up to you and your company, left up to you and whatever. The focus is that even though you don't know, you don't really feel great about what's going on, this is a gift in itself. You're putting the groundwork in, you're doing the best that you can. Later on, you will notice that this is a gift. Everything happens for a reason, guys. Nothing ever happens on accident. Nothing ever happens and, it's just out of the blue and no coincidence. Everything has a reason for it. And what you're doing right now is definitely laying down some sort of foundation that I don't know necessarily yet, because your destiny is going to tell us later on. But this is a gift. This is going to be amazing. You'll see it. If not now, then later. Trust.